Hello all, Rosalie here from rosaliesjourney.com, your cosmic midwife. That's what I'm calling myself right now anyway. Today, I'm going to be talking about flies. They have been coming not only to me, but helping me remember their purpose and the love within them. And I wanted to share another perspective you may not have considered with flies. Now, majority of the time we have fly swatch, we have everything, you name it, to kill them. And I get it. I used to be one of those people at one point in time in my journey. And as I have grown on this journey and have expanded my conscious awareness of many things, recently flies have I don't know, the word interrupted came to mind. Different aspects of my being to really get my attention. So what I want to share is another approach to looking at these insects. Everything has a purpose, as you do. You may have many purposes. Flies have many purposes. And in particular, I'm talking about the flies that come around when you got food around, or if there's poop on the ground or something, or a dead carcass of an animal and the flies come. Those are the specific flies that I'm talking about in this video. Now, there's many ways to look at them, to dissect without actually dissecting. And there's many stages to a fly even becoming a fly. So I guess I'll start there. This is me being vulnerable, but this is my real life and how I've gained knowledge. So over the years, this is many years ago when I first had an awakening with flies. I'm not embarrassed anymore because this is part of my life lesson. But there was a time where I was living in this apartment with my first husband, and there were some garbage bags out in the outside hall of our apartment on a porch that we had missed to send out on the street for a garbage day. And flies started accumulating, and I was like, oh my gosh, no. And they laid their babies. And so then not only were there flies, there were larvae. I'm not sure what is their larvae, the maggots. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever had a maggot in your hand, but they are quite powerful even in that stage of their metamorphosis. They're powerful, almost indestructible to an extent, because they're moving, they're eating, they're doing what they got to do. Mind you, that just kind of like caterpillar, how they just eat to grow and then become into the moth or butterfly that they will be. So with flies, there's already that power there within them. And have an open mind with this, because that's what we're about. We're about expanding our mind and expanding our knowledge, remembering our innate wisdom, remembering the oneness within all, remembering the power in every living thing. So there's the baby flies in that stage where they're these little white maggots, and they go everywhere. And then they develop. There may be another stage in between them. I have not looked into that in depth, but I'm just going to jump. So there's that stage, the baby phase, where they grow into the fly. Now, when they're into the fly stage, there's many different ones. The ones that are calling to me to speak on are the ones that, when you look at them, they kind of have like an iridescent color on their back or their body, the top part of their bodies. And they don't have the typical long antennas, even though they're a six-legged insect. Usually they have antenna, and maybe they do have antenna, but they're not the long ones that you typically will see in a six-legged insect. They, you know, they have their eyes that are able to see many different parts. Okay, so I'm being pushed. So there's that movie with Jeff Goldblum, which actually was one of the parts when I was a kid. It was an 80s movie called The Fly. It was one of those like creature double feature type movies. So if you've ever seen it, watch it. Is this man, it was a fly that turned into a man or something like, I haven't seen it in a very long time, but one, it was my first time having a whole crush on Jeff Goldblum, which I still have. Jeff Goldblum, I intend to meet you one day in this lifetime. But there's also, I'm remembering some of the scenes from that movie. That was one thing that where my open heart has always been this type to look at, even if it's something disgusting to look at, I can see the beauty in it. That's I don't know if that's a skill set or part of my heart, where I'm able to just see through all of the yuckiness to see the beauty of what something is. And I can see this even with people. But with flies, there was an instance, I'm skipping a little bit, but there's an instance where I was just so fed up because one of the flies came in the house and I was like, no. And I remember I was sitting at my desk, and at the time I was worried about bills because my ex-husband had overdrawn our joint account, and that was a lesson. I'm doing no joint accounts ever again with a partner, unless it's a separate thing just for that. They have many accounts. But anyways, I learned that lesson, and there was a fly that landed on my desk, and I was just so fed up that I hit it with something. I killed the fly, and then it was a mama fly, and the mama fly had babies coming all out of its butt or that part of its body, and all these little baby larvas were flying or were crawling all over my desk, and it just, I was just like in tears, like, oh my gosh, not only did I kill this fly, these flies don't have a mama, and I got all these larvas, maggots. It was, I mean, I had that, I did have a disgust feeling, but I also was filled with emotion, and that was a pivotal point in my journey where I was like, we're not doing this anymore. And I remember, I don't remember exactly what I did, but I remember I was crying because I'm seeing all of these babies crawling on my desk. So I got a way to clean it up, I believe, and I don't know what I did. I may have thrown them out at that time. This was years ago before I had a full awakening, but I never forgot that moment because of how it made me feel and how it led me to think that this is also a being, or at that time, this is also a creature that deserves to live. I've always been very fond and communicative of insects and animals and most living things. The reason I bring that up is because it made me realize that this is a living creature that has a right to live just as much as any one of us. So I think it still took me some time before I stopped like actually killing insects. It did take me some years after that. But moving forward to now, since one of my large another pivotal awakening in 2018, it was in 2019. Yes, it was 2019. I had other instances with insects that really opened me up and opened up my heart in another way, where now I won't kill an insect intentionally anyway, because everything I feel deserves to live and everything has a purpose. And that's where I'm coming back to. Flies have a purpose. They're part of the cleanup crew. When you see a fly, they'll come to your food because they're like, oh, food. But if there's a dead carcass of an animal, they're part of the cleanup crew. They will do whatever they do, and they'll eat. They'll lay their larvae within that. Their babies then have more food to eat, and they're cleaning up the carcass so that it's the cleanup cycle. Death and rebirth. It's all the cycles that we all live through. So you can see the beauty in that, in just that one aspect, that they have a purpose here to clean up the not so nice stuff. Now, I remember too, when I was meditating a couple years ago outside, a fly came on me, and I heard the fly because I've developed over time, and I'll do a separate video on when I started to have communication or have perceiving communication or the frequency of the insect realm. There was a fly on me, and I remember it was on my right arm, and it was communicating with me, and it was telling me that it was taking away some of the negative energies. It was cleaning up some of the negative energies within me. Yeah, that was a very interesting moment too. So there was that instance where it was taking away, and then when it was finished, it was saying, it was transmuting that energy, and it flew away. Um, so then it led me to thinking that sometimes when they land on you, they're also cleaning up some stagnant energy, or energy that needs to be cleaned up. They serve many purposes. We're all energy beings. What else did you want to say, Fly? There was something else. So I bring this up because recently, especially on TikTok, I've been hearing a lot of people talking, and I understand everyone has different perspectives. People are going to perceive in many different capacities. That's the beauty of being on Earth. We're not all going to think the same way on purpose, because we all have different perspectives. If you look at it from the standpoint of we're all part of Source that exploded into millions of different, or had this unlimited types of sparks of Source, we're all going to have a different facet of viewing things in this planet, things in life, things that we're experiencing, especially as human beings at this specific time. So looking at it from that point of view, also, like, some people view flies as being spied on, or when there's a lot of flies around you or your home or wherever you are, that there's people trying to spy on you or send negative energy to try to mess you up and discombobulate your focus. Maybe there's some truth to that too. As with anything, you have many sides to you. Like, I'm very aware of what people perceive as the dark side, the evil side. I got that side, but I also got this wonderful loving side too. And I find my balance with all of those different aspects of myself. So with that, also, insects, animals, all different things have different sides to them as well. So you could say maybe there is that. I mean, you can do anything on this planet pretty much. And, maybe people are sending flies your way to try to distract you, to spy on you, to mess up your energy. It's all possible. But you create your reality, so you choose what you want to believe, what you don't want to believe, creating a new way of believing something. It's all possible. So I just want to help you expand, or to see that there's always many ways to looking at something. I personally choose to see the beauty, but I still will see something for what it is. Because everything, just like you get an attitude one day, I get attitudes sometimes. Sometimes for no reason, sometimes for reasons. And, insects, animals, and nature all got those same parts of them as well. But you find that balance. So back to this flies specifically. They serve a purpose. And I just want you to know that It could be cleaning up issues. Flies can be a reminder or symbolize cleaning up some leftover issues, clean up that residue, declutter. Because sometimes I get that too. Especially right now, where I'm in a transitory phase of my life, where they're reminding me, yeah, you keep cleaning up. You're almost there. Keep going. Still got some more things. There's still some stagnant energy around that needs to be moved. It's a process. So this is how I'm choosing to use it when I see things around and I look at the signs around me. They remind me of that, but they also recently have been just reminding me of, like, remember the journey with Fly. Fly actually might be one of my totems. Or guides. Well, you are okay. You are one of my guides. That has come back to be like, hey, you still got some cleaning up to do. And cleaning up could be belief systems. It could be moving my body. Because sometimes I forget to move my body. I get so focused on what I'm doing that I forget to do some of the other things I need to do. So flies can also remind you, like, hey, clean up the other things. Look at all the little things too, because flies will get into anything. I mean, you've seen the, like, even if you don't like flies, I'm pretty sure you got the basic knowledge or have witnessed that they will get into anything and will make a home. I just saw, okay, sometimes if you see a dead fly, you finish cleaning something up. Take it as a good sign. I personally, especially if I see like a dead animal or something, or I know if it's an animal that I've been working with, even an insect, I know when I see it face up, meaning it's face up, meaning like if it's a dead fly, its legs are up when you're looking at it, so it's on its back. Same with the animal. I have learned, or my theory at this time is, I take it that I've completed doing whatever that insect or animal was that was working, that energy archetype that was working with me, that I've finished that. So if you see a dead fly, it could mean that you finished cleaning something up. So this is a long video to talk about fly, but I wanted to just get these points out. You choose how you want to view things. As with anything, you choose the perspective or belief system that you want to keep going or create the new one. So I just wanted to expand, and thanks for listening and hanging in there, to just give you another perspective on flies, to try to see the beauty in them and the purpose they serve. They're the cleanup crew. If we, you know, if there were carcasses everywhere and no flies, we're gonna have a lot of dead carcasses around, making lots of smelly smells and who knows what else, and spreading diseases. So just like vultures, they're part of the cleanup crew. Any of the animals that eat up other animals and carcasses, like, and then the insects come and the ants come and the worms come, like it, and then it decomposes. It's all part of the process, the evolution of life, the life cycles. And so you can look at it too, that there's those partners in the journey, that when you die, that there's people to help, or beings to assist in the decompartmentalization, or the decomposing. I'll just leave that in there because it's funny. It's cracking me up. Part of that decomposing process, that you have that help even in that stage of your life cycle to clean up and start new, and fertilizer for the ground for something else to grow from that. So thanks for listening about flies.